Greetings and praise God. My name is Sarah Cyrus Maura, a master's student in clinical psychology with a certificate in psychological first aid. Now, welcome, as today we shall be looking at what is mental health, why it is important, and the difference between mental health and mental illness. Mental health. What pops up in your head when you hear mental health? Now, through my research, I have come to conclude that mental health refers to a person's emotional, psychological, and social well-being. Now, when we talk about emotional, we can come out to say this is how people are influenced by how they think. When we talk about psychological, we can say this is how do people feel about different situations and different things. And when we speak about social well-being, this could be how people act mostly around other people. So basically, mental health influences how people think, feel, and act, and also affects how they handle stress, how they relate to others, and how they make choices. Now, how can we describe one who has a good mental health as opposed to one without good mental health? One thing that I can come out to say is someone who perhaps can be said to have good mental health is one who has peace, one who seems to be relating well with others. Now, if we look at the other side, one without good mental health can be said to be stressful, to be jumbled up, to be not handling things well, and in social crowds, they don't tend to interact with people well. Does this ring a bell to you? Now, as we do move on, how we can describe all this is that mental health is basically essential at every stage in life. That is from childhood, adolescence, and throughout adulthood. Now, moving on to the next thing that we shall be covering today is why is mental health important? Now, it is definitely important for several reasons, many reasons. One of them being overall well-being. What do I mean? Good mental health is essential for emotional and psychological well-being as it enables individuals to handle stress, relate to others, and make positive decisions in their personal and professional lives. I'm sure you've heard people saying this, that you should not make decisions when you're too elated or too low. This could also speak in accordance to mental health. Once your mental health is at the right direction, you're able to make the right decisions, you're able to talk to people in the right structure. Basically, you will be able to function well and proper. Another importance of mental health is physical health. Yes, this is something that I'm sure we all know. If your mental health is not in the right direction, you are perhaps going through stress. What does stress do to you? It can give you, God forbid, heart attacks. It can give you so many issues that will be displayed on your life. Now, mental and physical health are closely connected. Poor mental health can contribute to physical health problems such as increased risk of heart disease, high blood pressure, and other conditions. Similarly, chronic physical health issues can impact mental health. Now, we do have productivity and performance as the third point, as a person's mental health impacts the ability to work, study, and engage in daily activities. Mental health challenges can lead to decreased focus, energy, and motivation, affecting overall performance and productivity. How can we put this into an example? For example, let us say you have some schoolwork that you're supposed to do, or let's say you have some tasks that you have to complete in your job setting. If your mental health is not facing the right direction, you are going to lag behind. You are perhaps, let's say, going to start reading or going to start your task, and you find yourself taking 1 hour to complete something that could have taken you 5 minutes. That is because your mental health is affecting your physical structure, and this in turn has an impact on productivity and performance. Now, number 4 is relationships and social life. Mental health influences how people interact with others. Good mental health promotes social connections, while poor mental health can lead to social withdrawal, misunderstandings, and conflict. This has been displayed in life so many times. Once someone has stress or they have so many things going on in their mind, you can be interacting with someone, and let's say they do something to you and you misunderstand what they did, and perhaps you think that they did it intentionally, they wanted to do something negative to you, like your mind just jumps into conclusions that were not there, and this is going to make you relate with people in a terrible way, basically. And nobody wants that, right? So no one wants conflict, and everybody wants to relate with everyone in the right way. Number 5, resilience and coping. What do I mean? Good mental health helps individuals cope with challenges and setbacks in life. It enhances resilience, allowing people to recover from adversity and maintain a positive outlook despite difficulties. Now, what can we say in this? For example, you lose your job, and I'm not hoping that for anyone. You lose your job, and if you have good mental health, you'll be able to deal with that situation in the right manner. You won't like lose it because you feel like you've reached the end of the world. No, you're going to know that you can achieve the best, and everything changes, and you can just set goals and try to achieve them. It's not the end of the world. Now, that is why mental health is important, so that we can be able to maneuver appropriately in times of difficulty. Now, moving on to number 6 and our last point, prevention of mental health issues. Taking care of mental health basically helps prevent or manage mental illness like depression, anxiety, or more severe conditions, ensuring a higher quality of life and better overall health outcomes. What does this mean? It means that if we take care of our mental health, we are avoiding the chances of mental illness. We are staying away from the possibilities of attaining a mental disorder, because if you continue in the state of not having good mental health, eventually you are going to have a disorder, God forbid, if you do not take care of yourself, such as anxiety, depression, as we've mentioned. Now, this brings us to our last discussion of topic, that is, what is mental health and what is mental illness? What is the difference between the two? As people sometimes tend to put them at the same standard, but they are definitely different. Now, in short, mental health is crucial and overall well being, affecting every part of life, including personal happiness, relationships, and success. Now, as we defined mental health at the beginning, I can just take a GIF to go back and just define it once again so that it can stick in our heads. Mental health refers to a person's emotional, psychological, and social well being. And as we mentioned, it affects how people think, feel, and act, as well as how they handle stress, relate to others, and make decisions. Now, it encompasses of a person's overall mental well-being, including the ability to cope with life challenges, maintain healthy relationships, and realize their potential. Yes. Now, everyone has mental health and it can be either good or poor. Good mental health involves feeling positive about oneself, knowing that you can, feeling positive about oneself, having strong coping skills no matter what happens in life, because this is life. At the end of the day, things do happen, things change, nothing is constant, and being able to manage stress effectively. Now, mental health can fluctuate throughout life and can be impacted by stress, lifestyle, and other factors, but it does not necessarily indicate the presence of mental illness. As we mentioned before, mental health and mental illness are different, but for one to reach the state of mental illness, we can say that their mental health was perhaps poor at the beginning. Now, with the definition of mental health, let us go now to define what we mean exactly when we talk about mental illness. And let us try and differentiate the two. Now, mental illness refers to diagnosable conditions that affect a person's thinking, emotions, behavior, and overall functioning. Now, these conditions are usually long lasting and can interfere with daily life. Mental illness includes a wide range of conditions such as depression, anxiety disorders, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and more. I'm sure that these are terms that are familiar to most. Now, mental illness is a medical condition. It is a medical condition that requires treatment or management. It is characterized by significant distress or difficulty in functioning and can often require therapy, medication, or other interventions for management. Now, when we talk about therapy, we can talk about stuff such as CBT, that is cognitive behavioral therapy, where there is an interaction, there is a dialogue with the purposes of attaining certain goals. Now, the diagnosis for mental illness are typically diagnosed by a professional based on specific criteria outlined in the diagnostic manual, such as DSM 5 or ICD 10. Now, there you have it. That is the difference. Mental illness does include some things such as anxiety disorders, depression, schizophrenia, while mental health is a person's emotional, psychological, and social well being. Now, with that said, I do hope that this brings some clarity into some questions that you had, and also it helps someone out there. Thank you.